Hello student, my name is Vrishali Mahaman and I am assistant professor in political science subject from Government College Arts, Science and Commerce, Sangli. So today's program is for TYBA. Subject is political science, semester 6. Course code is POC 106. Course title is Western Political Thinkers from Rousseau to Marx. Unit number 3, that is John Stuart Mill. Module name is John Stuart Mill's on Liberty. The outline of the program is John Stuart Mill's views on liberty. The learning outcomes, the student will able to understand the meaning of liberty from J.S. Mill's point of view, differentiate the different perspective about liberty. Now we will start with the views on liberty. J.S. Mill's views on liberty had a direct relationship with his theory of utility or happiness. On liberty, which was written in 1859, his famous essay in which he had talked about concept of liberty. J.S. Mill regarded as a necessary means for the development of individuality, which was to become the ultimate source of happiness. For J.S. Mill, it is in man's mind that changes the society and that only free discussion can nourish the fruitful ideas. In short, he says that it is the individual idea, individual percept that will change the individual's life and not the society at large. Mill's essay on liberty is not merely concerned with the advocacy of freedom of thought and discussion, but it is also concerned with the development of individuality of men and women in the community. The freedom of thought and discussion is not main theme of liberty. So when we are talking about liberty at large, we discuss that the thought and discussion plays a very crucial role. But here Mill says that it is not the thought and discussion, but Mill wants to promote the development of individual men and women because he is convinced that all wise and noble things come and must come from the individual. So for liberty concept, he says that an individual should decide for his own benefit and not the other. Now we will see the Mill's on liberty. Individual liberty for Mill seems to be improvement of the moral and mental power of human beings. For improvement, there are three specific liberties. The first one is the liberty of thought and expression, including the liberty of speaking and publishing. Here in this first specific liberty, he says that it belongs to an individual's inward domain of consciousness. It will be illegitimate for either government or mass pressure to interfere with the free expression of unorthodox viewpoint. So the unorthodox opinion may be true while the accepted view may be invalid. The accepted opinion is true, but we still or not accepted view may be invalid. Lastly, Mill argued that in real life it is unlikely that either the orthodox or the unorthodox belief system is entirely true. For Mill, no self-development without liberty. So any individual has to be with the kind of self-development, and the self-development will always with his or her thinking level. The next one is liberty of action. The sole end for which mankind are warranted, individually or collectively, in interfering with the liberty of action of any of their number is the self-protection. So individual has to be firm with the kind of self-protection. For J.S. Mill, this liberty of action has been further divided into two parts. The first one is the self-regarding action. Now, the self-regarding action is mostly concerned only with the performing them. In this action, he concludes that the state should not interfere with the self-regarding action. In this self-regarding action, he says that the government cannot interfere in one personal life or in individual's decision. The government have to stay away when it's come to self-regarding action. The next one is the other regarding action. The other regarding action includes those actions which affect others. In this action, the state intervention with those of other regarding action which produce a positive demonstrable harms to other. So here, in this other regarding action, government can participate. Why government can participate? Just to preserve the individual from any harm, or just to safeguard individual from any harms. So liberty of action includes the two parts, that is the self-regarding action and the other regarding action. Self-regarding action is merely completely for individual, whereas the other regarding action in which government can interfere, government can involve, and government can make sure that the individual is not affected by the others or by the outside harm or harmness. The third liberty is the liberty of association. When things to be done, it is done in the better by individual than by government. Here, he says that the individual should be given more importance than the government. The government cannot justify individual life or anything which is important for individual. But individual can realize, can know what is good for him or herself. So he says that when it's come to liberty of association, he says that individual can do anything much better than the government. The next one is allowing individual to get together to do something even if they do not do it as well as the government might have done it, is better than the mental education of this individual. So here he says that any individual irrespective of their sexes, as compared to other thinkers, J.S. Mill always had talked about equality for both men and women, and he is termed as the first feminist or feminist thinker who had discussed many things on women. In the liberty, you will find that he also had included women liberty. He had given women that equal status to men. So when he is saying that individual is that much important, he says that it is both for men and women, and is not segregating it on gender basis. So government can decide on the individual. When he says individual is for both men and women. So here are the references. Thank you.